And we're recording. Hello, PPA. You've all been waiting for these, and we are finally doing them. We've got our Season 6 Power Rankings, and today I'm joined with none other than our mods, Red Jolteon and Lackey. Say hi.
What's up? What's up?
Oh.
He said, oh. What?
No, I said hello.
Oh.
The heh got cut off.
Oh, okay. Great introductions, guys.
Great introductions.
So, first, as you all know, we are doing the CALYREX conference because they finished their draft first.
Fuck y'all.
I know. I hate CALYREX conference. Screw y'all. But
I'm
whatever.
biased. I'm not playing this season.
Alright, so our first team we are looking at is going to be the Brisbane Pyroars, I believe, coached by Finiro.
Sounds correct to me.
Yo.
Yeah. I mean, I like this team.
I'm biased because I also picked Dialga.
Yeah.
I
You
think
did.
telepathy in draft is just a lot better than in regular VGC because you can do a lot more things with it.
Yeah.
And you pair it next to Lando, who's probably one of the best ground types you can pretty much ask for. On the physical side, you can just kind of spam Earthquake next to it and enjoy the resistances of being a Dragon Steel type as well.
Yeah, I think the Lando definitely complements Dialga pretty well.
This team, it like, I think it's supposed to be like half like Trick Room. It has a very strong Trick Room angle, but it also has like a lot good body press strats with Dialga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, best way I can describe it is it's like, and I wrote this down, where it's like, this is a very, very like, there's a lot of cohesion. Like, this is a very, very like strong team. Like, I'm pretty sure you will get Trick Room up. You will like be able to set and stuff. But I feel like it's maybe a bit too passive. That's the main flaw with this.
Yes, I agree. I was looking at this team initially when I was just going through like my personal tier list of all the teams, like during trades, so things could have happened. But it's kind of like in the lower echelon of Trick Room teams for me, just because I feel like one, yeah, there's not really that power level that we really want to see. Like Dialga is like good, obviously, but like you need a Raccoon to stay healthy enough to keep getting hits off. Paragiraffe doesn't really do that much damage. Screamtail's a good supporter, but it's going last in Trick Room basically every time. And then like after that, what's on the team to really do anything? Like, you guys tell me.
It needs
Yeah.
like an explosive pick.
Explosive pick.
It just needs
Yeah.
something that can like do damage.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. There's like not enough, I guess, offensive things that can make you kind of scared of this team. I mean, you have Dialga and Lando, but then after that, like,
Like, don't get me wrong, a Raccoon is going to hit you really hard. It's a very, very, very strong Pokemon. But it also like doesn't like to heal very easily. Like, it has good bulk for the most part, but I think it's deceptively frail just because bugs are weak, and Rock Slide is a very common move, and you are
Yeah.
rock weak. You have one resist, and that's not looking super pretty. Stone Journer is like cool, I guess, with Power Spot, but like it itself isn't doing that much damage, and it's gonna die after you sneeze on it with like any
yeah.
weak
Yeah.
move. Like honestly, any move in general. Wait, what's that? Like 20 spit F?
It has really low special defense.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And like the last half of the team, dude, like what are you doing with these? Like Cacturn, like you want to surf Pokemon to put next to it. You don't really have that. The Dunsparce is kind of cool. I like that you have like that protect breaking move, and I guess you get
You
like
have
foil set up. You get Claire.
Yep, you have Serene Grace Rock Slide. I think that's the main thing you can do with it.
Of course, you
You
would
can
know.
do like you. I know. I actually ran. I like
know.
Dunsparce, but I love Dunsparce, but you can't really do a lot with it outside of just be annoying.
Yeah, like I feel like one, there's no actual outside Trick Room mode. Like if there's a team that's slower than you, like you're not having a good day. And if you don't get Trick Room up, like there's no Tailwind mode that you can really do. Like what's setting up Tailwind? Volibee?
He is full of it.
You're not
Yeah.
bringing Volibee for Tailwind.
Yeah, this team struggles against like hyper. Here's the thing: against like slower, bulkier teams, this team is great. I'm going to say that. But because this is the restricted format with stuff like
Mm-hmm.
it's like slower teams just struggle a lot. and with like body press strats and like trick room strats, you need a turn to like set up, and needing a turn to set up is bad when you have stuff like CALYREX that can just immediately hit you turn one with like a lot of damage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, for me, this team is pretty much C tier, just because it needs a couple more changes and it doesn't have much outside of those specific strats that you mentioned. So C tier for me. I think it
Yeah, I
has the
agree.
potential to move up with a
I
couple
think
of
it's
good moves.
like higher side of C tier, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think there are better trick room teams in draft so far.
Yeah, I
But
agree with
this one
that.
has a lot of good pieces that they can definitely build on.
All right, next
Busted on
up.
stars.
Next up is Starlight Corsola, I believe.
This is I hate this team not because it's bad, but just because it has two chlorophyll sleep powder users.
Hey,
Hey,
who can't have too much sleep?
yeah, I mean, it's not really a bad thing. It's just predictable, like to an
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah, it's I'd say this is a good team. It's just like it's like nothing against you as a coach. It's like these teams just annoy the hell out of me. But like you gotta do what you gotta do to win. And this team, I can see it doing well.
Yeah, I like this team a lot. Like the sun mode is clearly there, and it is there to stay. Right? You got a very good sun setter who benefits from the sun. I don't love it being 4x weak to fairy, but that's okay. You actually did a pretty good job with your type chart down the board to kind of prevent that being too much of an issue. Incineroar is just good support, and under Sun, like Flare Blitz is going to do all that much more damage, and like it's a good fake out user. Venusaur is really really fun. It gets Weather Ball, it gets Sleep Powder. Wish you got Spore, but that would be way too toxic, and it works well under Sun. Gouging Fire I like a lot. I think it can really support the Koraidon pretty well, especially with you can use Dragon Cheer or what's the other move? Howl. I
Yeah.
like it.
Ha-
I really do.
Howl strats plus sleep's gonna be annoying. That's the main reason
Yeah.
why I thought this team would be scary because it has good set of opportunities, which is just made better by sleep powder.
Yeah. Like my only complaint is that this team is very, very physically based, and like Intimidate's going to be really annoying against you. If you go up against Intimidate, they can just cycle it. So like you're going to be competing for Clear Amulet on some mons, which is going to be frustrating at times. I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it is very, very weather reliant.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, if you can like somehow prevent this team from getting sun up, like what can it really do?
If you bring a prankster or rain dance user, it's
Yeah.
very, very bad news.
Yeah.
And while I like Giraffe-Rig, Giraffe-Rig, so he's saying Grigaraf, Giraffe-Rig as a like I think it's supposed to like the anti trick room thing. It's a good anti trick room thing, but it's the only anti trick room thing. If trick room goes up, this team doesn't really have any answers for it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I do like is that Umbreon is a potential sunsetter, and it's really bulky and hard to get rid of. Can't be pranked or taunted. It has inner focus, so it can't be faked out. So it actually, as like just a Pokemon itself, can really help this team out. Just being like a backup sunsetter, like it has that option, and then it can wish pass and stuff like that. So I don't hate Umbreon on this team just to kind of help out with a couple of those issues with like weather, but I do agree that this team's gonna be competing and kind of struggling if like rain goes up or if they like use Cloud9 to like cancel out weather or something like that.
Yeah, I think what would help this team is like not necessarily relying so much on the sun and maybe adding like a better trick room mode or something else like that.
Yeah, the trick room mode is definitely scary because it's not there, and if trick room does go up, it's it's gonna be rough just trying
Yeah.
to navigate your way out of it. But for me,
Yeah.
I like this team a lot. I think as a sun mode, it goes pretty hard. I think it's pretty like maybe lower of B tier IC. Um, I think that's where I put it in my own personal rankings.
I think it's like mid B, honestly.
Yeah,
Which what
I
is
have it
this?
mid B on my
Starlight
personal tier
Corsola.
list. Looking back at it, but I think it definitely has so much room to improve, and the sun mode is already so threatening. So I like it a lot.
Yeah. What do you think, Lucky? Oh, he's gone. Next team is the Rick Roly Colies. I think this is
Like Roly
Cody.
Coleys. It is Cody with another new logo. Looks really, really good. Like how that came out for you, man. But yeah, Cody back at it with honestly less of a meme of a draft. It's not mono ice, and I'm excited to see what he does because we know Cody's a great player, and he's kind of been
Mm-hmm.
like goofing around with them really, really goofy teams, and
Oh
I'm
shoot, I
excited to see what he
think
does with.
hold up, I think he changed Flygon.
Did he change Flygon? That's a good question.
Oh, I've been muted the past 5 minutes.
Because I remember I did a mock with him. Uh,
Check his roster real quick.
true. I totally forgot about
No, he
that.
still has Flygon.
Oh, bet. Oh,
Yeah, no, he added Flygon.
where the hell is he?
Yeah, no,
I don't
we're
know
good.
why
We're good.
he. I don't know why he did.
Well, let's look at the team.
Oh, I
and
know
we
why.
can-
I know why.
Oh, wait! I forgot it's Miraidon.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, Cody back at it with a really fun team. It's less of a meme, not mono ice. A lot of fair weakness. Are we concerned about that?
I mean,
It's
obviously.
no resists,
Yeah,
5 weaknesses.
Yeah.
Dazzling Gleam is going to be the easiest move to spam against Cody, but that also doesn't matter if you're just OHKOing everything first turn and make a good Terra too, and all of a sudden you're just kind of winning. Um, a lot of cool things on this team. He's got obviously Miraidon, which is one of the most threatening Pokemon restricted. It's the only notable terrain setter for electric terrain. And for the first time ever in draft, like Quark Drive is a viable ability, basically. Like you can actually use that thing as a mode. And he only has one Quark Drive user, which I think is fine. You don't want to have a team loaded and reliant on it. And he's got a pretty good one. Like Valiant, it's got Wide Guard. So that kind of helps with the Dazzling Gleam issue. He gets does it get coaching? I don't know if it does.
I think it gets coaching.
Let's just assume that it does. It gets Encore Disable, which is like the most annoying thing in draft or VGC in general. Like ask Jordan from VBL, he hates it.
Yeah.
He's got a great
Love-
prankster setter. Like I see a lot of good pieces on this team. It's just like a very scattered type chart in terms of like the weaknesses, and all the weaknesses are like very prevalent offensive types. Like a lot of ice weakness, a lot of fighting weakness, a lot of fairy weakness. I think it's
Okay.
just gonna be something he's gonna have to navigate.
Yeah. What I love most about this team is like just the synergy and like how many different ways he can hit you. I mean, the Miraidon obviously, but he has Conkeldurr, Masquerada, Iron Valiant. I feel like those are like some really like slept on picks. They can definitely
Yeah,
be a
definitely.
threat, especially
Yeah.
with Miraidon.
Masquerade is smart because like that is like just like a great ground counter. Because you're gonna be spamming ground types against this thing. Masquerade just preys on it because it can't be intimidated. And does Masquerade get in prison actually?
It does. It gets Trick Room in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has very fast Trick Room in prison. And if he wants to go Trick Room, he has Gothorita, which is a great Trick Room setter. It gets Frisk, it gets Fake Out, it gets a Violet usage. If you want to get cheeky with it, you can go competitive, although it's not really that much of an offensive Pokemon. And he's got good
Yeah.
Pokemon to use under Trick Room, like Enkeldur's great. Dunsparce, meh. Golem is strong. It's just kind of frail. Like he can go Trick Room if he wants. I personally wouldn't, but he could. Yeah.
I mean, he kind of has to because in PPA you're legally required to run Trick Room on the Masquerada.
True.
But yeah, I think Red Gelatin, were you around for like the Masquerada Trick Room to counter Tailwind days?
I think that was just like right before I got into the game.
Okay. All right. So I think only me and JQ know that. So never mind.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. But my favorite Pokemon on this team is Flygon. I'm pretty sure I told Cody about this, but it was like mid draft, I told him like go Dragon Shear Miraidon. So like
Yeah.
Dragon Shear and like Razor Claw, this thing can like crit everything.
You could definitely run Dragon Cheer strats with Flygon and Miraidon. Funny that rhymes. But
Yeah, it's meant to be.
no,
He's
I
spitting
like it.
bars.
And he can discharge into Flygon if he really wants to. I was gonna say he has Disquake, but he doesn't because Miraidon is still weak to ground. But he can spam discharge if he wants. Like that could be really really scary. Like you run Razor Claw, Dragon Cheer, Miraidon, you spam discharge, you get a couple paras. All of a sudden you're like not hitting per turn. You're taking like 40-50%. And then next turn Flygon does some damage, and Miraidon continues to do its thing. Like that's a scary mode. That's a really scary mode.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think this team is solidly A for me. I think
Same.
it's not S because of the type chart, but I think with its options, it's solid A tier. It's just got
Yeah.
too many threats.
I agree.
And Cody's a great player. I think he's finally kind of like not messing around with his team building. He's like here to like get to the playoffs and actually do well.
Yeah, he's
So,
locked in this season.
locking
Yeah.
in this season. I'm excited to see what Cody does with this team. I love it. Yeah,
All
A
right.
tier for me.
Next
And
up,
before we move on, I want to bring up. Oh, sorry. Before, like, he's gonna use Moody Strat with the Glalie, and he's gonna, like, I hope he wins like one game with that, because that finals game that lasted an hour, because it was just Moody stalling, is still my favorite PPA set of all time.
It's honestly just a
And I-
callback to his ice team, his mono ice team.
Yeah, I hope that we get more Moody Strats. All right, sorry. Back to next person.
All right, next up
All right.
is Royal Rosary. This is Lux's team.
Nice.
All right, so we have Dog.
Dog.
We have Dog. We have Dog and Comfy. Comfy plus 3 like powerful like sweepers, which I think is a really cool idea.
Yeah, no, I freaking hate this team. Like it's so good, I hate it.
It's good. I don't think it's like cracking any like cheat codes. Like, here's the thing: I see Moltres, I see Latios, and I see Rotom Heat. 3 ground immunities, and who do you have to spam Earthquake next to it? Piloswine. This isn't low tier. This is a restricted draft. Like Piloswine, I know is great in low tier. Like we saw Jordan and BBL the other day, like having great success with it, and I love it. Like as a budget pick, but as your primary ground type in a restricted format, it just cannot be. That can't be it. Especially when you like dedicate 3 ground immunities and a Disquake mode. Like that's just not what you want to be bringing in a restricted format. And I don't think that's like a major issue with the team. It's just kind of a complaint that I have. And I think that if you
But
make
you mean he
combo
has
moves.
bad ground types? He has Wooper Paldea.
Yeah,
Okay.
what the heck?
Well, you're right. This team's S tier just for that, and we can move on. All jokes aside though, I do like Zamazenta Crowned. Like Wide Guard is great. Auto defense boost is great. It's got a decent typing, and it's kind of hard to get rid of, especially with Terra. Like Body Press is doing a ton of damage. Moltres Galar is bulky and annoying. It can be a Tailwind setter, but you don't need it to be because you got Latios, so it can kind of just rely on being that bulky sweeper once you get it set up with Berserk. Rotom Heat's great. I like that as a pick. Be immune to ground, and you can get Will-O-Wisps off. Weavile's a good fake out user. Latios is a good Tailwind setter. Decent damage. Dragon Cheer with who? No one? Terror Dragon something, you know. Yeah, that was fun. Comfy is a fun pick here. Like, you're healing up your bulky Pokemon and just being a menace. It can be your Trick Room setter or your Tailwind setter. And, like, the Trick Room mode on this team is not really there. Like, you have one Pokemon that's, like, slow and offensive.
Yeah, this team doesn't
So-
not want to run Trick Room.
Yeah,
Really?
like, this team does not do well under Trick Room. It has options to prevent Trick Room, which I think is fine.
But
But
like
it could be something-
if Trick Room goes up, it is fucked.
Yes.
Or not fucked. but
Unless you get those boosts up high enough on like Zamazenta and you're too bulky to be gotten rid of. So that could be something to consider.
Yeah.
And like Comfy is going to go first anyways, and just set up like Triad healing strats, and all of a sudden Zamazenta's back up to full. And what are you gonna do? Who cares if you're going
This
first
is
if
a.
you're only doing like 30%?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, like this is a good team, but I feel like it's made better by closed team sheets because all it takes with like Zamazenta and Moltres Galar is like one like surprise Terra to like get like a nasty plot boost and snowball out of control.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's if like in team building you get a good Terra, this team's going to be a lot better. But if you don't get a good Terra, or if you Terra at the wrong time, like it's very very Terra dependent.
Mhm.
I feel like you need to have a lot of surprise factor with this team,
Yeah.
and how good you are at managing surprise factor will play a good part in this.
I think he's a good enough player to make it work. I definitely see a few moves if he has any more transactions left later down the road that he could probably take. But for the most part, I think this is gonna be a good team out of the gates. I'm excited to see what he does with it. For me, it's like mid, high B.
I think it's
Probably.
low A. I think it's
I
low.
would,
Well,
I would
no,
also, I would put it in A
weaknesses.
as well. I mean, I just
I
love
think-
the core of Zamazenta, Moltres, Latios, and he also has really good support options and like
Yeah, like it's got a
Comfey,
very good
Rotom
fighting dark psychic tor for sure. I like that core a lot. I just don't know if the trick room mode or prevention of that thereof is good enough to make it an A tier team, but it's definitely high B if we're considering it.
I'll say
that.
bottom, like I'll say like very very bottom of A or very very top of B.
Yeah,
So if you really go like top of B,
I think top
I
of
can
B.
agree with that.
All right. Is his logo right here?
It's right there on the top. Yeah, there it is. All right, moving on. What do we got?
We got the Wheezing Weezings. This is
Wheezing
Steel's
Weezings.
team, I think. I think this team's pretty good. It's like that last team we did, Starlight's team, but it's like the rain. It's like the rain version.
This is this is an interesting team because it's like, here's the thing, like in concept I love like the concept of this team is great, where it's like you have Kyogre and then you have a bunch of like Swiftstormers. Raichu is a really good pick, Thundurus is a really good pick, Sarina blocks priority from all the for all the Swiftstormers, and
But it's just like, what
And
do
you have
you
good-
run outside of rain?
Yeah.
you
So
really
I
don't
have
do
this-
anything.
I have this
And
team
plus,
in my personal rankings at D, and I think a lot of those weaknesses you just discussed are why I have it there.
but
like-
oh sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You were talking.
Yeah, it's like in concept I love this team, but in execution, the fact that your Swiftstormers are at highest like Basket Legion is 78 speed, and Beartick is 50 speed. So even though you have like all these strong Swiftstormers, they aren't going to be outspeeding like a Tailwind team. They aren't going to be outspeeding anything else. And since you have no like Trick Room mode yourself, opposing Trick Room modes that are more prepared for Trick Room are just going to like snowball this team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
like
It's a great rain mode, but there's no Tailwind setter. There's no way to reliably get Trick Room up. Does he have a Trick Room setter? He does.
no, he does.
No,
Oh,
No,
he does.
he does not.
He does not. He has no Trick Room or Tailwind, and that's why it's deep for me. Because if rain is not up, this team just does not win. Like, it just can't. Like, Wide Guard is going to be put up against Kyogre. It's going to have to choose a different move to click. And the lower its health gets, the less that Water Spout does. Basket Legion wants to be running adaptability if all possible, and without a Tailwind setter, it can't do that. Beartick, I'm the biggest Beartick hater. I hate it. I hate it. It's not good.
I like Beartick, it just doesn't fit this team very well.
No, it's bad Pokemon. Don't do anything.
Yeah, I've locked against this team,
Me too.
and yeah, it's like if you don't have good speed control, it's very very scary.
Mhm.
But once I got Trick Room up, I was able to just like pretty much just sweep through it.
Yeah, or Icy Wind, Electroweb. Electroweb, like, loves this team. Like, I guess Thundurus
Yeah.
is immune to it. Serena can resist it. Raichu could technically Lightning Rod that, so I guess that's kind of a nice niche to have.
Yeah, and I feel like
If you
But
trade
Icy
in-
Wind is just annoying.
If you
for this
trade in
team.
Ampharos and Bastiodon, and get like a good like like anything that can like run Trick Room in prison, or anything that has like Tailwind, even if it isn't Prankster, just Tailwind in general, would definitely help this team because it needs VA control
Yeah,
outside of just
absolutely.
Swiss Swim, and it doesn't have that unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it needs like all the transactions to be made to like really change that. But after that, it goes up like 3 tiers for me. Like right now, it sits in D tier just because of those issues.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
Rayquaza. Um,
Yeah.
Rayquaza.
Like when I bought this team, it was scary, and we did a very very close set. But like once I got Trick Room up, like it
Oh.
was hard. So like if he just has good like anti Trick Room stuff, it can do well.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and Steel is a pretty good player. So
Yeah. Again,
like
this has nothing to do with the player. This is just about the team. Like these are what the rankings are. Like
yeah.
All right.
His team can definitely have success. He just needs to pilot it the right way and maybe make some changes roster wise. Anyways,
All right.
moving on.
Our next
This is an
team
interesting team name.
is Bucket Wee Ball. This is my
Bucket Wee
friend.
Ball.
This is my friend Joel. He's going to Honolulu
Alright.
in August for Worlds.
Nice. Congrats. So we should expect to see a team as good as the so-called player, correct?
Yes.
All right. Let's see what we got.
This is very very top heavy.
Yeah. I was doing a mock with him the other night, and I kind of pulled some shenanigans on him, but no, his team is actually pretty decent. I feel like, but like you said,
Yeah.
top heavy.
like the first 4 Pokemon
Yeah.
are like wanting to come.
Aldo
in.
brings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you can
there's some
expect these
good
two
value
to
picks
come
on the
every
board.
week. Yeah.
I wish not gonna lie, I wish I like drafted like his Mons for fantasy because that Urshifu's coming every game. That CALYREX is coming every game.
Yeah.
That Clefairy is coming every game.
I drafted his Clefairy in fantasy.
Yeah. I don't think we should do like a fantasy PR, but whoever has the most like stuff, whoever has the most stuff from this guy is gonna be high on that imaginary list.
Yeah. I love the Masquerain pick. This thing's a 4-pointer. It gets Intimidate, Tailwind, some other shit, but this is a pretty great 4-pointer.
Yeah, Masquerain's
Great.
okay. It just kind of like dies as soon as you hit it with a pebble, and that's like the only.
It does, but the thing is, it's like
4
if
points.
you put a sash on it. Here's the thing: if you put a sash on it and put it next to CALYREX Shadow, of course you want to hit the CALYREX Shadow because it's CALYREX Shadow, but you also want to hit the Masquerain, or else it's going to set up like Tailwind. So it's like the thing with like weak like support mons is that they get buffed because normally it would just you can just hit it and die, but you also want to hit the restricted and die. So you have to choose like, okay, do I risk Tailwind going up or do I risk the CALYREX sweeping my team?
Yeah, like very good top 4. And I think a lot of value picks that you're gonna have to choose which ones come. The Trick Room prevention I don't love. Like you don't really want to be running Trick Room prevention on CALYREX. You could.
You have does Gothita even with Eviolite and like
It's just not. It's not Gothorita.
It's just not.
Gothita. It's not
It's just
Super Bowl.
Gothita.
It's just Gatita.
Yeah,
I mean
But you don't
CALYREX
want to
Shadow
just be running
can technically be an anti Trick Room thing, but
exactly.
I don't
But
think-
you
I
don't
don't
want
think
it
you
to
want to. Yeah, even though like realistically, like you only need 2 attacks. You need like Astral Barrage and like Draining Hiss or Psychic. You don't really need a lot of attacks on it. So
Yeah.
theoretically, you could run Trick Room Prison on it, but
You're
I
probably
don't know
not
how
going to.
reliable that would be.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 Follow Me mons, which is gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Very
is
good
annoying.
volume mons as well.
I
And
love
Front Guard is
Electrode.
great.
Electrode's gonna be very very funny.
Yeah. Really fast Electro Web.
Yeah. And then Monferno, does Monferno gets like fake out and all that, right?
It gets
It does
fake
get
out,
fake
yeah.
out. Now, what the fake out mon I'm most excited to see on this team is Persian. I think it's a really good value pick.
Yeah, Persian also.
Like fake out, it gets technician on top of that if it really wants. If it gets fake out, it gets icy wind. I think it gets a few other really good support moves. It's just a really good value pick, especially for the speed that it has. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a really good Pokemon next to a lot of these faster Pokemon. Like you don't have much of a Tailwind mode outside of the Masquerain, but like you're fast enough where it doesn't matter too much, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess like the only concern I have is like it doesn't really have a way to prevent Trick Room. It does, but it's not a great consistent way, and there's no way to play under Trick Room. Like this team is way too fast for Trick Room.
Yeah.
So I think
The
it's
one thing I
just
can see him doing is like Encore with Clefairy, because Clefairy like underspeeds a lot of trick room setters, so you could like Encore the trick room setter
yeah.
and then try and do something that way. But at the same time, like at that point, like they can just switch out the trick room setter, so it's not reliable.
Yeah. I think this team is just kind of so top heavy that you don't really know what you want to do with like the next two mons. And I don't know, like it's gonna be good. And clearly this is a good player. He's made worlds. I'm excited to see what he does with it, but there's a couple changes I think that could be made just to kind of improve
Yeah.
on being so top heavy. And because of that right now, I think it's like C tier for me. Like it's very good. Good
I would
for
put it.
4.
I would honestly put it in B because I mean, CALYREX or and that's like CALYREX, Urshifu. These are such powerful mons. Outside of Trick Room,
I say B.
it's like these things are just so strong.
I would definitely put it at the low end of B. Like I have it actually mid C, just because of that. But like I think it just needs a good pilot, and it clearly does. So I'm excited to see what he does with it. But yeah, if you guys want to put it low B,
We'll put it low B. Moving on, got the New Jersey Ninetales. I believe this is F2.
Yes.
Second Sun team of the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Both,
And I've been noticing a
both,
trend with like all these teams. I feel like all these teams like they're not that great in Trick Room.
That is the case. Does
But I
Whimsicott get
honestly
imprisoned
think
Trick Room?
this team is actually I don't know. Is it on par with the last Sun team?
I think their Sun team's a little bit better because the other Sun team had like an anti-trick room thing, and Whimsicott is just more reliable because like you just get immediate tailwind, which is good.
I mean, yeah,
Compared to
Whimsicott gets in prison, Trick Room.
It does.
Gets taunt in prison. It has the prankster taunt. There's ways to stop Trick Room for this team.
Funny enough,
Yeah.
this was my S tier team. This was my top rated team according to my PRs. Just looking at it now, and I'm trying to remember. Yes, that's why. I think so. Yes, Trick Room on this team. It doesn't love Trick Room. That is true, but I think it has good ways of preventing it. Just because you got that Whimsicott with that ability to help with that, and it's just got such a powerful Sun mode that like if you get Trick Room up, are you not dead already? You know, like this is a strong Sun team. Like it gets auto Sun, and it has a prankster manual setter that's just insanely good. You know, and like how many Trick Room teams are there that are going to be able to compete with this? Like it's such a high level of offense with that Walking Wake and that Groudon. It gets follow me support with that Magmar. Like this is a really really solid team, and I think he just built a very good like roster around it that kind of works with it. And because he's got both manual and automatic Sun, I think it just kind of makes it that much harder to deal with. Like this is a really really good team, just Sun wise.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, I feel like the other Sun team, if you like found a way to stop the sun or change the weather, it was kind of whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
But this
like
team,
this team has options outside of it.
yeah, for sure. Um,
It's definitely built around it's built around Tailwind or Sun. I can see him only being annoying. Just Tropius get Tropius. What does Tropius get? Does he get like sleep powder biscuit?
And I think it does get sleep powder. It gets It also gets Tailwind. I guess it's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't get.
This is just kind of funky.
Doesn't get sleep powder though.
Does not get sleep powder. Got it.
No, doesn't really get a lot that good. It has some offenses. Oh, it has wide guard. That's good.
That is nice. I just looked at it. Whimsicott does not have Imprison, so I guess that is one weakness that I thought it did.
it doesn't get
like
Imprison.
A way of preventing it does not get Imprison, so that is
that's
gonna bump it down for me a little bit.
Definitely.
I was under the assumption Whimsicott had improved Trick
Yeah, I
Room.
thought too.
I thought it was gonna be really good. So like that made it S for me. I think now it's more like high A, but it's so good. Like it just really is. Like you can easily add in free agency a couple of mons to help with that, and now you're back up to being like top of the food chain. Like this thing is good. Such a good team.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? A, S? I like Storm
A.
I
Dragon
think it's
Minion.
I think it's A just
I
because
think
of
it's
that
A.
Imprison issue,
Okay.
but it's really good. Such a good team.
This is New Jersey Ninetales, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we putting it above or below Cody?
I mean, I was kind of initially
Actually,
biased.
wait.
I thought this thing was the best team in the league, but based
Let me
off
look
my
at
rankings,
Cody's.
He
Let
had
me
the
look at
Maridon.
Cody's
I think
account.
it's above Cody's, personally.
yeah, I think it's above, and
Yeah.
he can quickly change a couple things to make it even better.
All right, let's move on.
It's definitely close,
shit,
but
I
I
should
think
open the
that
box. All right,
Very
last
good.
team in Glacial, we've got the Glasgow Glowbros.
Woohoo! And if you,
I saw the mock. I saw a mock of. Oh, I keep cutting you off, Rachel Dion.
no, you are good.
Yeah, but I saw Ty mock with, I forgot who else it was. It was mocking with someone else, but like seeing this team in action is it's scary. This is a very like
Oh, was this our
like
first
honestly
Trick Room team?
I had this kind of
This
low
is
honestly at
second trick
first, but
team.
like seeing it more and more and seeing it in action in that mock really like boosted it for me.
Yeah, like this is a good trick room team. Like as trick room teams go, this one's very good. Um, two solid trick room setters in Sinistra and Mesprit. Mesprit is really good, just with like levitate and like decent bulk overall and a pretty wide move pool. And like mystical power is like a fun move to spam and like kind of raise that special attack. So like you're not like just kind of a sitting duck. Like it's a good trick room setter. And Sinistra keeps things healthy. Um, CALYREX can set its own trick room if it wants. Raging Bolt can work under trick room. It's just a good Pokemon in general. Uh, yeah, I like it a lot. Like, I think it's a really solid Trick Room team. Like, the issues I see are like, as with most Trick Room teams, if you don't get Trick Room up, are you in a bind? Like, that's the question.
Yes and no.
I think with CALYREX
It's
Ice,
freaking
you're not
CALYREX.
as much like worrying about being in Trick Room. Like, I think a
Yeah.
lot of the restricted teams in like actual like PGC that use CALYREX don't rely on Trick Room. Like, they get Trick Room up, it helps. But the best ones are able to operate outside of it and just like kind of rely on its bulk and really high attack.
If you make Calyrex Terra Fire and give it a clear amulet, even if you like spend all this time like denying Trick Room, you can't intimidate it, you can't burn it. So if you spend turn one trying to prevent Trick Room, you're still getting hit by a hard move because you just can't.
Exactly. And you got Hospitality on Sinistra to help with that.
You got Raging Bolt, Thunderclap,
Mhm.
and you have on the Dugtree is not really going to do a lot.
Yeah, I mean he's got Intimidate on 2 mons. He's got Fake Out support.
Yeah,
I think it's a really solid team. Like, I think Trick Room is one of the hardest modes to play just because it's so predictable and like how you're like wanting to play it. But I think as far as Trick Room teams go, this one's like pretty diverse and it's got some very good tools to help be a good Trick Room team. Like, it's hard for me to put a strictly Trick Room team above like B, but I think this is like a very solid B tier team overall, even being a
I
Trick
think
Room
A.
one.
I do think it's A
Yeah,
because
I'd be willing to put it in A, even as a Trick Room team. But
yeah,
it's like
JK, what do you
it's very
think?
good.
He has Calyrex Ice. I gotta put him in A, and no, I'm serious. Like
True.
like that thing is scary,
True.
and like you said,
Yeah.
like even outside of Trick Room, it's not like the world's over for Calyrex Ice.
Yeah.
It's super
And with the
bulky.
Mesprit, I know he traded for Mesprit. I really like that move. Like, it's a very good extra Trick Room setter to have. I think that's a
Yeah.
really smart move.
Yeah, we can put this in A.
Yeah, and Ty, if you're watching this, please at one point run like Galvanized Explosion on Golden. Because I think that is this. Well, no, excluding
Yep.
like Last Respects and Rage Fit, I think that's like the strongest move in the game.
Pretty much. Terror Electric, like Galvanize, Explosion Choice Band.
something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the strongest in the game.
We can run
Or
the
it was.
calcs later.
I know it was in Gen. It was in Gen 7. It was like mathematically the strongest one, but I don't know if it's been dethroned.
No
Well, this is
idea.
1 Terra ground to really ruin your day.
Yeah, just run Terra Ground.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna move on to
Awesome.
the Astral division now. We got J Star's team.
J
Like
Star.
Asheville Division.
Astral.
The
Oh, I
Ass,
thought you said Asheville Division. I thought you
Ass
said Asheville
division.
Division.
It's the Ass
The Ass
division.
Division. All right, who's first in the Ass Division?
J Star.
Okay, yeah, so it's fitting. It's a fitting name.
Yep.
Oh,
Crazy
Um,
Cramorant.
yeah,
We have 2 Cramorant teams in this
yeah, we do.
in this league now. And I have them both in B tier, but let's talk about this one first. Really fun team, honestly. I like it. It looks like it's a ton of fun to play with. It's got Pokemon that I've used before and I enjoy personally. Like Fluttermane, like very, very good. No one's debating that. He's got
I don't want to.
or not Hydreigon, Iron Jugulus, good Tailwind setter. Kind of wants Electric Terrain, but again, you can just run Booster. It's got Solgaleo, so that's like a good like Berry Steel core. I don't see a Dragon type, unfortunately, so I'm a big fan of the cores. There's no Dragon Fairy Steel core on this team, which kind of sucks because he had such a good start to it, you know. But 2 good Pokemon that kind of complement each other's weaknesses with Solgaleo and Fluttermane. I like that. You got a Tailwind mode with that Jugulus. And yeah, like you got Thwacky to like set up terrain to heal, like that Solgaleo who wants to be healed. You got Oros for Intimidate. You have 2 Intimidators. You got 2 very solid Intimidators. How do we feel about that? Did we waste too many points on Intimidators?
No, I wouldn't say so.
I don't think he did, but I just want to hear the opinions from the crowd. Like,
yeah,
I
no,
like that he has 2 options for Intimidate, so he doesn't have to be forced to bring one if one's better in a situation.
Yeah.
And you don't
I
have to run
like
Intimidate on them.
I like
yeah.
Intimidate a lot. Like having a lot of Intimidate is just good in general. I would like it a lot more if there was like a better special wall or something better that could, because right now Solgaleo can definitely take advantage of it. I can see Iron Juggless taking advantage of it. Fluttermane maybe, but Fluttermane still gets 2-shot by a bunch of stuff anyway. So
I mean, Fluttermane is the bulkiest special defensive Pokemon of all time, with that high 135. It's never
it
gonna
also
die.
has like
We're gonna ignore the
also has
HP.
55 HP. And now you're gonna.
There was an asterisk by that statement.
We'll ignore the
Oh, I see.
55 HP.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
he has screens to kind of fix his special defense problems. Like we said, we have Intimidate, but like you said, he doesn't have to run that. He could do some Anger Point shenanigans.
You could do some.
Oh, gross.
I did that season 1, and I remember in the finals, I one shot by Tauros.
Yeah, it's great. I don't love that he has 2 baby Pokemon he's relying on, or maybe 3 even with Wacky. Relying on to be like good, but I think they're good baby Pokemon. Like Wacky is like bulky enough within a Violite to do good work, and it gets fake out. Impident also gets fake out. It gets screens. Riolu I think fits his team great because of the Solgaleo. Like you run that next to like Solgaleo or like Arcanine or Tauros, Paldea, Aquatic.
Yeah.
Like that thing, like
Coaching.
very solid coaching Pokemon, and I like it a lot. I think it's a good budget pick. This is a team well.
Infinite is frail. I agree with you there. It's not the best, but it was like the cornerstone of I think season 2. I think Ferret used it to win season 2 a lot. So
Yeah,
it
it's a good
Yeah.
Pokemon. I think he prefers Morgrim, but like it's there. It's 4 points, right? Like or 5. Like it's good. It can do good work, and I think he did a good job building this team on like have a low budget because he like blew a lot of points early, like 19, 22, 15, and then 7, 12, 5, 4.
and then random 18-pointer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is in a lot of ways just a better, like I think a more fully realized Brisbane Pyroars.
Mhm.
Because it has like the Trick Room mode and the mode with the bulky steel type legendary. But I feel like this team, whereas that team didn't really have a hard hitter, this team has like Flutter Mane, and it has some stuff that can do decent damage in Trick Room. Not great damage, but decent damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's
Like,
it's
I'm
not
concerned that
perfect.
Avalugg is the only true Trick Room Pokemon, and you don't want to be bringing Avalugg,
Yeah,
frankly. But yeah, I
Avalugg's
agree with your sentiment.
yeah. It's a good team, and it's definitely I'd say this is like a perfect like B.
Yep, B
Yeah,
is
I'd
what I was
also
gonna
tier.
put
say.
this in B.
Like slap
Yeah, this is
middle
the
of B.
most like B tier team, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah,
Really
no,
isn't a bad
it's
thing.
solid. And J-Star is a good player. Like, he's gonna be able to do good work with the team, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Ooh,
What is this
Tux. All right,
stupid, nasty, gross team?
send this thing right down to D tier for me real quick, and then we'll talk about it. No, just
Nah,
kidding.
we're gonna put this right
I
here
love
for now.
Ho-Oh. I love Ho-Oh as like a restricted. I think it's such like a cool like design
Design.
for like a competitive mon. I love what it does.
Yeah,
And
Ho-Oh is
he
a
did
very
this to it. He did this to it.
Ho-Oh is like kind of the underrated restricted this format.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of background details on this team because Tux was spamming me and Ryan with his team ideas because neither of us are playing this season. So he was giving us the whole shebang about which mons he should draft, and like we agreed with some of his picks. We were like, "What the hell?" on some of them, but I think overall he's got some interesting picks. So it's like the Ho, I agree, really good budget pick for restricted, and it's got some really good tools. Like it's bulky, Terra helps it a lot. Um, Ditto and Zoroark, like on the tail, is super weird, but I kind of like it. At first, I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" But Ditto, like in a restricted format, like it's such a scary threat. Like you just
Yeah.
like copy like a boosted up like CALYREX or something, and all of a sudden you're a scarf faster CALYREX than the other CALYREX. Like, what are you gonna do? Like that's a really solid pick. I like it. I think in the restricted format it works well. Zoroark can disguise itself as any of these like really weird Pokemon down the board, or the Ho-Oh, or something, and you just kind of be a menace. And like, it's a solid special attacker. It can use throat spray that rats. Oh my gosh, it's hard to say. You try saying that. That's insane. What the
Throat
hell?
spray strats. You just gotta say it
See, you gotta
slowly.
like think
Throat
about
spray
it. You gotta
strats. Throat
think
spray
about it.
strats. Throat spray strats.
All right,
All right, buddy.
make that an emote.
No need
Anyways,
to flex.
oh yeah.
I really like his
Anyways,
budget picks.
yeah, I
These
think
are all
he did a
pretty
good
good
job
Pokemon.
budgeting. Yeah.
Like,
Azumarill fits his team great. I think.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
Trick Room if he needs it. Complements that Ho-Oh. Really, really strong physical attacker, and like it's just really good. I love
yeah.
Azumarill.
I feel
It won
like
me VBL.
I feel
It's
like
like my baby.
every Pokemon on this team like does something at least. Whereas other
Even
teams
the
like
Levani.
they'll either be like top heavy or they'll have like a couple 4-pointers where they just need to fill out their board. But this team, like every Pokemon can do like something at least.
It can come every week. It's very
Yeah.
similar to like my VBL draft from last season where I went really, really wide after drafting a Fluttermane. But like it's wide. Like he's got Grimmsnarl for screens, and Grimmsnarl can do damage. Garganacl can like chip away at things and kind of be annoying. And like it's bulky and hard to get rid of. Breloom could be like annoying with Spore. You put a sash on that thing or a scarf, like surprise something, put a fast Spore on it. Like that's very effective. You got a good Intimidator. It's a Intimidator actually. It's okay. Quillfish is okay. I don't love Duosion as your primary Trick Room setter / preventer. Like I think that could be improved. And Leavanny was just kind of like a meme pick for the roster, just to make it work. I know we were talking about that. He had to pick Leavanny, just kind of had to. So, like I think it looks good. Type chart's not too bad. The speeds could be better, especially like if you wanted to run Trick Room and there's not really the option to set it up. Don't love that, but like it's not the end of the world. And like you can set Tailwind up, I guess, with Toho if he wants. Like that is an option.
Yeah.
But I think this team's solid. I
I
think it's B, like just kind of like middle of B.
I think it's kind of low B because I love here's the thing I like what he's going for, and I really don't want to be contrarian. I feel like this team is really good against offense. Like this is the great anti-metagame team.
Mm-hmm.
But against slower teams, I feel like it's probably going to struggle. And I feel like if you prep for screens, because a lot of this like defensive backbone is based on like the screens, and it's based on that. So if you can like play around screens, and if you can do all that, I feel like you can probably like outstall this team.
Yeah.
Because the only setup this team really has is like, okay, Brilliant's annoying. That doesn't need setup, but like Azumarill can belly drum, but that cuts into its defensive capabilities, which is like the main thing you want it for. And then Oh doesn't really have any setup. It
No.
kind of needs good partners to set up.
Yeah, like I want a better coaching mod on this team. I think Brelam gets coaching, which could be fun.
Yeah, but you also just we want to spam sport with Brilliant. We don't really want to use coaching on it.
Like I want a better coaching mod on this team, frankly.
Yeah, it's like this team would do great against like Joel's team. Like it does great against like hyper offense, but if you can build just like a slower team that can work around it, I think it really struggles.
Yeah.
So I think like lower B. I love.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it does well, I'll eat my words because I still think I see the vision.
Yeah.
I probably don't.
I mean,
I think it's mid to low B for me.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole fun thing about power rankings. We kind of say things at the beginning of the season, and then turns out they prove you wrong, and that's fun.
Yeah. Which is
again
pretty much
has
every
nothing to do
PR.
with the coaches, right? Like the coach could play this team perfectly and win the entire thing.
Yeah.
Even with
Tux
a team that is not super awesome.
Tux. I mean, between me and Tux, only one of us has like won a season, so I can't really talk too much trash.
Ask him about his VBL performance.
Oh no! Well, I mean, let's not be too mean.
All right, moving on.
All right, next up we got the Holy City
Beans.
Weebiles. Yes,
Holy City Weebiles. Fun team. It's Trick Room. Trick Room again.
Yeah. I like
this
it.
team is, as a Trick Room team goes, could be fun, but again, there is zero outside of Trick Room option here, like none. Like you're setting up. What are you gonna set up Tailwind with Lunala? No.
Be funny.
There's nothing outside of Trick Room that works.
Yeah.
That well.
But I mean, if like he's forced to like not have Trick Room, I feel like the Lunala and DD isn't like horrible, and he has redirection with Amoonguss.
Yeah.
And even his low
Now,
tier
the thing
picks.
is, he's gonna set up Terrain and not have Fake Out as an option, unfortunately. Like that's kind of annoying for him. Expanding Force next to Ndidi and Lunala is kind of fun, and if he gets Trick Room up, which he has plenty of setters to do so with, like it could be fun and very effective. But it needs Trick Room up to really be a threatening team.
And my whole problem with the Psy spam thing is it's just so predictable and easily like counterable with any dark type.
Any Ace Spinner.
Yeah, that
just
too.
get rid of that Terrain.
Yeah.
Lunala, like if it takes, it wants to Terra. You know, like it does not eat dark type hits. If it takes like any chip, then it loses that like ability to reduce the damage. Like it's got so many good tools as a Trick Room team, but it needs to have like options outside of Trick Room, and it just kind of doesn't. You know.
Yeah, and even
but
like
a lot of good Pokemon.
Even like the whole terrain thing, I feel like if he leaned on his psychic terrain more, like maybe with an unburdened user or something else, it could work outside of Trick Room. But I don't see that.
Yeah, like I think this is a good team that he's gonna have success with, but he's also gonna struggle if he can't really rely on that Trick Room. So, it's bulky enough to like not work too much about that. Like you probably have some relative success outside of Trick Room, but it definitely wants to be in Trick Room and does not have a good time when it's not. So I think this is like C tier.
I would agree.
Yeah, I can't add anything. Like that pretty much sums it up.
I just hate Psy spam. I hate it. Nothing against you, Jerry. I love you. No homo.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see if he proves us wrong and makes his team work really well.
I hope he does.
But
Yeah.
and there's definitely room
This
to
looks
like
like a fun
make
team.
some moves on the team, like improve some of those issues.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yes,
Maybe
good
turns into a tailwind Lunala team and just turns into like a menace.
All right. Next up is our little Pookie Bear. It's
Speaking
Vihon.
of archetypes I don't like, Terrapagos.
Is this thing
I just
good?
don't
I've
like
never
it.
used it.
Okay, so this
Terrapagos it's good. I don't like it because it's literally just like I have a 120 base. I have like a make it rain that just hits everything for neutral. It's like this is a really really good team, but I just don't like Terrapagos as a design. All right, sorry, that's my personal bias out of the way.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
why is it
let's
built
get
like
my
this?
personal bias out of the way too. This is a team that me and Vihon basically built together. Like he was like asking me for help on every single pick. So a lot of these picks were potentially influenced by me. He was the one who wanted to use Terrapagos, so I was like, yeah, sure, we can lean into that. So this team is pretty much built to help work with Terrapagos, and I think you guys will see why. Like it's got two fast acid sprayers to help with Terrapagos. It's got Rillaboom to help heal it, and fake out support. It's got the Trick Room option or Tailwind option with Driftblim. I think Driftblim on this team is insane. Like he had Micro initially, and then I saw Driftblim at 8. I was like, why do we want that when we can have this for half the cost and also Trick Room and Strength Sap
Yeah,
and Will-O-Wisp?
True.
Like this thing
gross.
is nuts under Trick Room. Or not Trick Room, under Grassy Terrain. Like you get that defensive bulk, now you're faster than everything. And you can choose which way you go. Like, are you going to go fast or slow? And you can do that with Terrapagos if you really want. You got options in Trick Room like Crawdaunt, like Copper. You got the Girder really as well. You have Budget Follow Me as well, which is awesome. You got a great Intimidator and Ground type in Crocodile. You got fast coaching to work with the Rillaboom or the Copper. Like this is a really well balanced team. Not to toot me and Vihon's horns. Like I think he did a good job drafting
Yeah,
this team, and
it is a good team. I
I'm
can't
definitely
argue.
biased because I helped. So for me, it's A to S tier just because of that. But I definitely see some weaknesses with it. So maybe let's talk about those.
I mean, the one weakness I see, and this is a it isn't like a huge weakness. It is a weakness, but it's not a huge weakness. Is it's like I feel like you can't really like start off the game like exactly where you want because you want grassy terrain up, so you have to always run lead Rillaboom, and you always want like Tailwind first. So you kind of always have to run Driftloom first, but you also may want Intimidate, and then you also may just want immediate damage with Terrapagos. So and then you also may just want Trick Room. So deciding like what goes first is gonna be hard because oftentimes you're never gonna have everything you want in the first two slots. You're gonna have to like awkwardly pivot out turn one, or you're gonna have to find a way to position things.
Yeah.
So against teams where it's like, oh, I have Burgeraf and CALYREX Ice, and I can just press one move, and all of a sudden I'm like killing your team. Like this team does need to turn this set up, which is in restricted formats not always ideal. But outside of that, like once it does get going, I don't think like it's gonna be easy to stop at all.
Yeah, definitely. And with that being said, it kind of like opens up the mind games. Like, what are you going to lead? Like,
The
how do
mind
you?
games are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think this team's really gonna be really fun to use. I thought you were gonna say the biggest weakness of this team is Vihon's the coach. Like, I get that. Like,
I mean,
Um,
I do want to say that, but like Vihon is in like a quantum state of like best coach and worst coach. Depends on like the day. So, like, I don't want to run the mouth off on that.
I mean, my only
Very
thing with
true.
this team is it's a little weak to intimidate just because there's a lot more physical output than special. That's pretty much it. I mean, he has maybe like a different form of speed control because I mean, you have Tailwind, but is this team really gonna run Trick Room?
yeah, it could absolutely run Trick Room.
It probably could.
I guess
It has
Against
Copper, Crawdaunt, and Rillaboom, which could be
Yeah.
run slow. Like this team
against a
could
team
absolutely run Trick Room.
like I'm looking at like teams in this division that like run think of Glacial. Like there was one like Trick Room team. The rest were all like pretty reliant on Tailwind or Swift Swim. So yes, like that isn't the best Trick Room team in a vacuum, but in this division where there isn't a lot of like Trick Room like sets, it's going to do really well.
Yeah, I think this team is going to be a ton of fun to play with and help prep with. I think just to negate my personal bias, it's top of A, but I could see it being an S tier team.
I think it's A too.
I'm gonna go with A as well.
I think it is A.
Yeah, it's a very good team, very very good team. We don't have an S tier team yet, actually. Interesting.
I think we have. Didn't we have one? Or
No.
am I just imagining that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Huh.
No.
Not yet. All right, moving on. Lost Resolution, who is an S tier team for me, looking at my power rankings, and I think you guys might agree. This is a great team. Like, holy, this team looks fun.
Is
To fight or to use?
Yes, to use. Like, this thing is, like, got so many tools. Like, let's look at this thing.
2 Intimidators with Tinglu and Zacian with Tailwind, possible Tailwind, and possible, okay Trick Room mode, but mainly just really good Tailwind mode. And Polion, like, if you want to run like Intimidate, you got Polion. Pikachu is just a wild card.
Yep.
Gengar, I could see Gengar doing some stuff. I could see Heracross doing some stuff. Everything can do some stuff. Like everything is surprisingly like do stuffable.
Yeah, this is a wide team that can do so many different things, and I think it covers its own weaknesses really, really well. Like Zacian can be intimidated, but then you got like the Empoleon with competitive to negate that. And if you want, you don't have the item slot used up on this version of Zacian, so you can run Clear Amulet, and all of a sudden you're not intimidate dropped, and you got competitive boosted in one turn, and your opponent's just like, whoa, shit, like that's great. And then you got Tinglu to pair with that. That's like super nice on the special side. Like it just works really, really well together, I think.
Yeah. Does Empoleon get Tailwind?
It does not get Tailwind,
No.
but it has.
Okay.
We have 2 good Tailwind setters. You got
we'd still
Sash
be
Fletchinder.
very good team players.
Yeah, you have freaking
you got Sash
Fletchinder.
Fletchinder, which is great. You got Intimidate or Moxie on the Salamence with Tailwind as well. And Ryan showed us like a few seasons ago in like VBL how good this thing is. Like this thing is a good bulky Tailwind setter if you want it to be, while being good at damage output. You got
Terra Ghost or stuff like that, and it's like
absolutely.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's like it struggles against like Fake Out. I get that, and you don't want to run Covert Cloak because like as long as it gets hit, it loses Gale Wings. But that's such a commitment. That's such a commitment for like stopping a Fletchinder.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you could use that time stopping Zacian from getting a Swords Dance.
Mm-hmm.
So, so like it works well in the context of this team.
Exactly, and like he's got Heracross for coaching. That's pretty fun. It's got guts, so it can hit really hard if you really want to. I love Stantler as a budget pick. It's like my favorite 4-pointer of all time. Like it's just so good. It's got so many options. Hard to get rid of with a Violite. The only thing on this team I don't like is the Iron Lees, personally. And like it's not the end of the world. Like I think you could make this thing work. I just think for 13 points you can get better value.
Yeah.
Yeah. The main reason I like this team is just because there's so many ways it can hit you. I really like that.
Wow.
I really like that in a team.
And it's got good ways to prevent damage to itself.
Definitely no weakness in offense. I like his speed tiers. This can function. This can like it's not like game over if you get Trick Room up, and it can run fast, pretty easily with the Fletchinder. I like it. Even Pikachu. This thing can be scary.
Yeah. Nuzzle strats. The surprise light ball, like insane damage output with whatever he gets.
Volt Tackle Light Ball, like Loki does like some damage.
Yeah, this thing's like a Basculin kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is an S tier for me. We were just talking about it, but I think it could be realistically one of the better teams in the format.
Yeah, I'll put it in S.
Yeah, he used to kill.
I'd like just to say, yeah, I'd say this is like S.
Yeah, This is a very good team. Well
Man,
done
look at this
building this
logo.
team.
Man.
Man,
Oh,
guess I'm
what
S.
is I don't
Alright.
think. Oh, I guess. Hang on, I need to check the actual tier list because this isn't in the sheet. I see.
Right.
Okay.
Alright.
Wotan,
This is
another team I helped
this is
build
the
a lot
baby's
of.
team.
Let's go.
The
The
baby.
baby's here to play.
Yeah. Y'all kinda like this team.
I'm a fan.
I love the low
I did
budget
help Wotan
picks.
with this a lot. So I'm a little bit biased with this team as well. This seems to be the division I helped everyone with. I don't get it.
I love the Lorantis pick and the Venonat pick.
Yeah, a lot of really good low tier picks, and I kind of like Eternatus. Like, it's not the most expensive restricted, so you're not blowing a ton of points on it, and it's got a ton of good options. Good typing, um, good speed, good bulk, good special attack. Like, what more are you really asking for? You know?
Yeah. This is a team that just uses Aurora Valley really well.
Yeah. Like, I think
You have
the Ninetales fits this team super, super, super nicely.
because I'm thinking like Power Herb, Eternatus, Swords Dance, King Gambit. If you get a surprise, if this guy like surprise Terras, like King Gambit into resist, and he gets a free Swords Dance with Aurora Veil, so it's gonna be like it can snowball so easily. It's just like
Mhm.
what's his face team? I forgot what it's called, but like all it needs is a turn to set up, and then it's just which
Yeah.
like I said, like it's a weakness sometimes. Like you need a turn to set up, but like it just has so much reward if you do set up.
Absolutely. And Ninetales is such a good partner because it's so fast and it gets both screens up at the same time because of Aurora Veil. Like, that's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, I hate this
Like, you
thing.
don't
It
have
has
to
a
waste your turn.
Dude,
it
this
has a
thing.
decent trick room mode too.
I think the
Yeah.
Trick Room mode is definitely there with the King Gambit, the Swampert, the Lorantis. Hypno is a good budget 4 point like Trick Room setter. I think
Hmm.
this team would be like just looking at my personal power rankings. I had this thing as like top of B, but I could see it being an A tier. If you can like maybe get a more consistent way to get Trick Room up or prevent it. But I think Hypno does the job enough. But like then again, I don't like being reliant on one 4 pointer
Yeah.
for that. You know, but
Mhm.
it does the job absolutely. Him on top is a really fun Pokemon with Fake Out and Intimidate and Coaching. Like, that's a really good tool to have. Like, it gets all three of
Hmm.
those things
I
in one
love him on
package.
top.
Yeah.
I think
Love
it's a
it.
good pick.
Yeah. The one flaw I see is it's like it's very very special attacker oriented. The only physical attacker you really have is King Gambit. But if you're gonna have one physical attacker, having one that is immune to intimidate or benefits from intimidate and just has so much value. Yeah, it's technically a flaw, but like it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah. And he's got Moltres on this team, which I'm a big fan of. I used it last season in VBL. This thing's a beast. Like, such a good value pick for only 11 points. It's Tailwind, it's offense. I know you were talking about not having physical attackers. This thing has 100 attack coming off of Stat Brave Bird. That's pretty good, if you ask me. Like, that's pretty solid. That's
Honestly, my favorite thing
not
about this
bad.
team is like how balanced it is. Because I mean,
Yeah.
if you look down here, like his average stats are like in the 80s, and he even has like 90 speed. Really
Yeah.
balanced team, and I mean he has the cores you were talking about: fire, water, grass, and you've got the dragon,
Fairy
fairy
Steel.
steel. Yeah,
Yeah.
this team. I mean, it can function in a lot of different modes, and
Yeah, I'm excited to see
yeah,
him use this team. And Wotan's just getting better and better every season from the looks of it.
yeah.
It's really fun to watch him
I think
improve.
this is like high A.
Yeah, high mid high A.
Yeah, let's do it.
Old time. What's his logo?
He's the Torterra, the
Oh
Wild
yeah,
Wings.
Minnesota.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I like this team.
All right. Moving on. We're almost done. Two more teams. Got the Riverside Piplups.
Okay, this was a low C tier team for me initially, just looking at
Yeah.
my rankings.
Yeah, I'm looking at this team for the first time. I mean, uh,
Here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Kyurem, which is a fun pick. I think you could have a ton of fun with that. And then you picked Chen-Pao right after it.
two ice
I
types for
wonder-
the high
okay.
picks.
my conspiracy theory is maybe they were going for the Ninetales Alola, but then they got sniped by
Wotan.
Wotan.
Let's see. CALYREX.
Like,
Yeah, because I'm looking
checking
at
receipts.
like the order. Ninetales Alola was picked second by Wotan, so he was probably thinking of like Kyurem and then Ninetales Alola, but
was
then that
Chi
got
on the board?
taken. What's Chi on the board actually? I need to check.
Where the hell is?
Yeah.
Oh, did you hide it?
Maybe. Yeah. But like even without like even without Hail support, I think this team could do really well if it had like a prankster tailwind. Because Kilowattrel is a good tailwind setter, but I feel like it without a lot of synergy on the team, like you need just like a prankster tailwind user,
Yeah,
and this just doesn't really have
Ninetales.
that.
Yeah, Ninetales was picked before Chien-Pao. That's crazy.
Because I do like it's like best thing I can say with this team is it's like I love the picks. Like I like Golden Go, I like Luxray, I like Espeon, Spite Ops. Like unironically, I like Spite Ops can do some shit. But it's just like there just isn't a lot of synergy.
Yeah, that's like my concern. Like the Chien-Pao does not fit this team like at all. Like there's no physical attack outside
The
of
further
it.
you go down, the less synergy you see.
Yeah,
Like for me,
Like
this team needs to get rid of Chien-Pao, it needs to get rid of Torracat, it needs to get rid of Probopass, and like
mhm.
maybe Espeon, and just improve with all 4 transactions like immediately. Because the Tricker mode is reliant on Espeon, who's super frail and doesn't like to be in Trick Room itself. Um, there isn't much of a Tricker mode outside of the Probopass, maybe the Spite Ops, and the Spite Ops is not really being an attacker. Like Watcher's good. I think that fits well with Kyurem. Um,
It
Golden
does,
Go
yeah.
is good. That's a good steel type to pair with the weaknesses of Ice and Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But like we need to build on those types of picks, you know. And this team definitely has room to improve. Like this team could easily improve with just like a few transactions. But right now the synergy is just not there. Like ton of rock weakness.
yeah,
It's got just as a whole not enough synergy to like really mesh together.
yeah. I feel like he
But
needs like a snow setter with maybe like slush rush, a slush rush user, because this QRM right isn't really being supported that much. And I feel like that's the
yeah.
most important thing in a restricted draft is to obviously support your restricted.
hmm Yeah, exactly. Like there's definitely picks that he can make to improve, but right now it's like bottom of C,
I think
top
it's
of
D. I think it's
D.
D.
All right.
Unfortunately.
And again,
I think
prove
it's
us
C.
wrong.
I want to say C. Like
All right.
I can argue bottom of C because I feel like
Okay.
I
the
have it in
picks are
C.
good. The picks are really good. I'd say.
Yeah, I have it in like low C.
Okay. That's fair. Um,
All right.
moving on.
Yeah, prove us
Last
wrong. Make this
team,
team work.
the Oblivious Oranges. This is Orange's team with the infamous Mewtwo. That's 17 points.
Okay. Whoever would have thought that Mewtwo would be a 17-point Pokemon? Like, if you went back to like Gen 1 days, someone told you like
Power
Mewtwo's not
creep.
going to be the best thing. Like the power creep is insane,
Yeah.
and I think it's kind of held up. Like I think for 17 points, this Pokemon does good work. It's got great special attack.
Yeah.
It has great speed, decent bulk. It gets recover, I believe, so it has
Mm-hmm.
longevity. And I think the only thing holding back is like 2 mid abilities for VGC. Like it's
Yeah.
not bad. It's got a great move pool. And as far as side spam modes go, this one's not bad. Like it's got Follow Me and DD with Psychic Surge. It's got a Prankster Tailwind Setter, which is great. Um, and then that's kind of where I see like a few issues further down the board. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it's got a good first few picks that I do like, but then you got like some issues with like the Tricker mode being really like it's actually a decent Tricker mode, I think. Like you got Rhyperior, you got Braviary,
hmm
and like is that it?
It can work in trick. Yeah, it's just those Pokemon. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, like it's got a Trick Room option, but you need to have those Pokemon on the team, you know.
I think
And
it's more of
then
just like an anti-trick room mode.
yeah, sure,
Like
and like I think that could work. That could definitely work. And then you got like a good Tailwind expanding Force like Psy Spam mode, and that counters like Miraidon or Rillaboom or something like that. You know, like that's good. That is good. And Mian Xiao is like a good fake out user with inner focus, so it can't be faked out itself. It gets coaching. It has
wide
decent,
guard.
yeah, wide guard as well. Like I think it's got like a lot of good pieces and enough synergy to like really make it work. But like Rafir is gonna have struggles getting attacks off if Strickland's not up. So it's not coming often and you spent 14 points on it. Like that's pretty expensive considering you might not bring it every week. Um
Yeah, and
like it's just good, and then like the last few picks I'm not sure what's quite going on. Like Vigoroth is like eh. Basculin is cool, I guess, but this is not the one with last respect, so boo.
Yeah, the Dene is it's like I can kind of see the vision with like all the lower picks. Like Bastion is just like good damage.
Hmm.
Vigoroth. It was I was surprised it's only 4 points because it's bulky. It gets yawn.
I like
It's
Vigoroth.
good. Yeah, it's like one of the better like sleep counters. And the Dedenne is like I think it's supposed to be like it's like that's the main problem where it's like I feel like a lot of things on this team like have their purpose, but like they aren't the best thing to like for that purpose.
Yeah, I think
Like
it's a really good way to
Dedenne
put
is
it.
like supposed to be a dark counter, but that has like any one special attack, so it's not going to be hit like really threatening dark types.
Yeah,
yeah.
does it get Nuzzle though? I think it gets
Yeah.
Nuzzle,
Its main
which
thing
is
is
fun.
Nuzzle.
And then
I'm pretty sure.
Mian Shao is really good against like dark types as well, but it's going to be so focused on like setting up and so focused on like protecting its partner that's not going to have time to like
Yeah.
really threaten the dark types.
Yeah, my main thing
But-
with this team is just well, me personally, I hate Psy spam, and I really do.
Okay.
I hate it, and like, what do you really do outside of it?
Like you don't have to run Psy Spam on this team. Like it's obviously a good mode, but like Mewtwo has a deep move pool, and like you can like set up Calm Mind with it or something while you use Follow Me Entity for something else. And then like you got Tornadoes to help out with stuff like that. You could be cheeky and go like coaching onto the Mewtwo and make it like a physical attacking set.
Oh lord.
I'm sure it's got plenty of moves to work with that. Like I think its team just has a lot of surprises it can work with, but it does struggle a little bit with like maybe some of that predictability stuff and just overall, what are you gonna do if like number one option isn't there? You know,
Yeah.
I think it's like low B. Like it's a good team. It has room for improvement, and they can definitely be coached to like a good record this season.
Yeah. And
I think it's
mean,
like mid high B because I am biased because in the league where I was in, it's like it's A team like this did really well, and B I'm just biased because like I've done things with the Orange before, so a little bit biased. But if I'm saying mid B because I like I hate side spam as a strategy, but it does work, and it's like there's a bunch of sleeper picks, but yeah,
my main thing
Uh,
to like improve it, I would try to take advantage of the fact that your restricted is really cheap. I would go for more like synergy with your terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Take advantage of that psychic terrain. Get an unburden user or two. Try to do something with that.
Yeah.
I think mid low B is fair.
I think mid B is fair.
I'll say mid B.
I don't think his team's better than Tux's.
Nice. All right, moving on.
All right,
I
think
that's
we're
it. Yeah, that's it for
Is that it?
for CALYREX. Yeah,
Nicely done.
All
we
right.
got through a whole division in about an hour.
that was an
Hour and
that was-
15?
Not
Yeah.
bad, not bad. It's got a very
Alright.
nice curve to our current
Yeah.
tiering. Like nothing super skewed to like one tier.
Yeah. We'll see how the next conference goes. But CALYREX conference, those are your power rankings.
All
Very
right.
nice.
We hope you
All
prove
right.
us wrong.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. If you disagree with anything here, please DM Jake Weepius
Hello.
and voice your concerns there.
Oh yeah.
All right, bro. All right. Well, thank you for watching. This is gonna be released. I think I'm gonna release this like this evening. Well, obviously we're recording Paradox like right after this with Tux.
Yep.
and
We're gonna
Feathers.
get Paradox right after this with Tux and who else? Feathers recording that.
Yeah.
With them.
Yeah.
All right. So look forward to that, and look forward to Weekly Heat coming this season. Hit me up if you want to be featured on that weekly presentation of cool sets of the week. So yeah, catch you guys later.
All right. Thank you for watching. See ya.
Bye bye.